In a world where love is often seen as emotion, Plato revealed it as the soul's journey toward the divine. Today, we explore the timeless wisdom that changed the way humanity understands love forever. Plato's Symposium is one of his most celebrated dialogues, written around 385 to 370 BCE, during a period of intellectual ferment in ancient Athens. The dialogue is set during a drinking party, or symposium, where a group of notable Athenians gathers to engage in philosophical discussion, each offering a speech in praise of the god Eros, the god of love. The symposium is not merely a discussion about love in the conventional sense, but a deep philosophical exploration of the nature of love, its role in human life, and its relationship to the divine, beauty, and the pursuit of wisdom. The text stands as a pivotal work in the Western philosophical tradition, laying the foundation for many subsequent reflections on the nature of love and desire. The historical context of the symposium places it at a time when Athens, having experienced the height of its cultural and intellectual glory during the Golden Age, was facing significant political and social challenges. Athens had just suffered a devastating loss in the Peloponnesian War, and the political landscape was shifting. This intellectual environment, characterized by a blend of rationalism, skepticism, and moral inquiry, shaped the philosophical discussions that Plato explores in his dialogues. The symposium captures the atmosphere of this time, blending a mixture of intellectual rigor and social dynamics, presenting philosophical ideas in a manner that speaks to both the individual and the collective aspects of society. The symposium is important in that it introduces one of the most profound and enduring philosophical concepts in Western thought: the nature of love, or Eros. In Greek philosophy, love was often discussed in a variety of ways, but in Plato's hands, it becomes a central theme that permeates much of his work. While the dialogue focuses on different aspects of love, it also engages deeply with the idea that love is not merely a physical or emotional sensation, but a complex metaphysical force that propels the soul towards higher forms of beauty and truth. The symposium serves as a critical touchstone in the history of ideas about love, influencing generations of thinkers who would grapple with the relationship between love, virtue, and the divine. In the symposium, love is initially presented as a human desire for beauty, but as the dialogue progresses, it becomes a means of philosophical ascent. The central characters of the dialogue, including Phaedrus, Pausanias, Aristophanes, Agathon, and Socrates, each provide their own speeches on love, each emphasizing different facets of the concept. These speeches not only reveal various perspectives on love, but also serve to gradually unveil the philosophical depth of the subject, culminating in Socrates' recounting of the teachings of Diotima, a priestess who provides a more structured and metaphysical understanding of love. Diotima's teachings, particularly her description of the ladder of love, present love as a journey from physical attraction to the contemplation of the divine, suggesting that love's true purpose is the pursuit of wisdom and the beauty of the eternal forms. Plato's philosophy of love is central to understanding his broader metaphysical and ethical views. Love, in Plato's framework, is not a mere emotional or bodily experience but a motivating force that drives the soul towards the highest good. In the symposium, this theme is explored through the dialectic between the various speakers. Each one offers a different angle, allowing Plato to articulate a multidimensional view of love. Phaedrus presents love as the greatest of all forces, capable of inspiring individuals to perform noble deeds. Pausanias draws a distinction between higher and lower forms of love, with the higher form representing a spiritual connection that transcends the physical. Aristophanes offers a mythological account of love, portraying it as the search for one's lost half, which reflects a deep existential longing for completeness. Agathon, in his youthful exuberance, sees love as the embodiment of beauty and virtue, while Socrates, through his conversation with Diotima, redefines love as a process of intellectual ascent towards the divine, culminating in the love of wisdom and truth. The dialogue, thus, moves from a celebration of love as an emotional and physical experience to an exploration of its more profound metaphysical dimensions. The culmination of the discussion, in which Socrates reveals Diotima's teaching of the ladder of love, presents a vision of love that is entirely transcendent, focused not on individual relationships but on the soul's yearning for the divine and the eternal forms. This ascent through love, according to Plato, is the path of the philosopher, who moves from the love of physical beauty to a love of the universal and unchanging truth. Plato's treatment of love in the Symposium is distinctive in that it places love at the heart of his philosophical system, connecting it directly to the pursuit of the good, the true, and the beautiful. The dialogue is not only about love between individuals but also about the love that motivates the philosopher's quest for knowledge and the perfection of the soul. In Plato's philosophy, love is not simply a private, individual experience but a universal force that bridges the gap between the physical world and the world of the forms, leading the soul towards enlightenment. This vision of love as a philosophical and metaphysical force would have a profound influence on later thinkers, shaping the development of Western thought for centuries to come. While the Symposium is often regarded as one of the most significant works in the history of philosophy, it must also be understood in relation to other works by Plato that address love. In dialogues such as the Phaedrus and the Phaedo, love is also discussed, though in different contexts and with varying emphases. In the Phaedrus, love is presented as a form of divine madness that can lead the soul to enlightenment. The dialogue describes love as a force that transcends human reason and leads the lover towards higher knowledge, much like the philosophical pursuit of truth. Similarly, in the Phaedo, love is connected to the philosopher's desire for immortality and the liberation of the soul from the constraints of the body. In these works, love is often portrayed as a force that motivates the philosopher to transcend the material world in search of higher knowledge. However, it is in the Symposium that Plato offers his most comprehensive and systematic account of love, moving beyond the mere idea of divine madness or the soul's desire for immortality to present a more elaborate conception of love as the soul's journey towards the highest truths. Ultimately, the goal of the Symposium is not simply to provide an answer to the question of what love is, but to explore its role in the broader context of human existence and the philosopher's quest for wisdom. In this sense, the Symposium addresses the nature and purpose of love not just in relation to human relationships but in relation to the philosopher's higher calling, to seek truth, to understand beauty, and to live a virtuous life. Through the speeches of the various characters, Plato shows that love is the central force that drives the soul to seek knowledge, beauty, and truth. The Symposium offers a vision of love that is both deeply human and profoundly philosophical, making it one of the most influential texts in Western thought. The Symposium is set within the context of a banquet, which was a significant social institution in ancient Greece. The Symposium, as a setting, was not just a social event, but also a place for intellectual exchange, where philosophers, poets, and politicians came together to discuss various matters, often over wine. These gatherings were essential to Greek culture, serving as spaces where individuals could engage in philosophical, political, and artistic discourse. Plato's choice of the Symposium as the setting for his dialogue is significant because it aligns with the tradition of using such a social occasion to present intellectual debates in an informal yet structured environment. At the heart of the Symposium is the banquet that takes place in the house of the wealthy Athenian Agathon, a famous playwright who has just won a victory in a dramatic festival. The setting of the banquet becomes the backdrop for a philosophical exploration of love, with the various participants offering speeches in praise of Eros, the god of love. The banquet setting allows for a dynamic interplay of ideas, as the guests not only partake in the physical pleasures of food and drink but also engage in intellectual exchange. Plato's use of this context provides a rich tapestry for the development of the dialogue, making it both a social event and a philosophical forum. The characters in the Symposium are drawn from a range of backgrounds, each bringing their own perspective and philosophical outlook on the nature of love. The guests of the banquet include Phaedrus, Pausanias, Eryximachus, Aristophanes, Agathon, and Socrates, each of whom offers a speech in praise of Eros. Phaedrus, the first to speak, is a young and passionate man who believes that love is the most powerful force in the universe, capable of inspiring individuals to perform noble deeds. Pausanias, an older, more experienced figure, distinguishes between two types of love, one based on physical attraction and another based on spiritual connection. Eryximachus, a physician, brings a medical perspective, suggesting that love is a force that governs not only human relationships but the cosmos as a whole, maintaining harmony between the elements. Aristophanes, the comedian, offers a mythological interpretation, presenting love as the search for one's lost half, reflecting a deep existential longing for completeness. Agathon, the host of the banquet, is a youthful and idealistic figure who praises love as the source of all beauty and virtue. Finally, Socrates, the central character, offers a more philosophical and intellectual perspective, challenging the views of the other speakers and ultimately leading the dialogue towards a higher understanding of love. The character of Alcibiades, who enters the scene later in the dialogue, adds a dramatic layer to the banquet's philosophical discussions. Alcibiades, a famous and controversial Athenian general, arrives drunk and interrupts the proceedings with a speech about Socrates, whom he admires. His entrance is symbolic of the themes of love and desire explored throughout the dialogue. Alcibiades' late arrival serves as a dramatic counterpoint to the earlier speeches, as he speaks not about love in the abstract, but from a personal and emotional perspective, recounting his own unrequited love for Socrates. His intrusion shifts the tone of the dialogue, adding a sense of chaos and passion to the intellectual atmosphere of the banquet. Alcibiades' speech also highlights the complexity of love as a theme. While the earlier speeches focus on abstract and philosophical understandings of love, his speech brings the human experience of love to the forefront, illustrating its unpredictability, irrationality, and intensity. Socrates' role in the Symposium is particularly significant. He serves as both a participant in the dialogue and a catalyst for the philosophical developments that unfold. Unlike the other speakers, who present their views on love without much challenge, Socrates questions and interrogates the ideas presented by his fellow guests. His philosophical method, which is grounded in dialogue and dialectic, encourages the others to refine their thoughts and confront the limitations of their views. Socrates' role as a philosophical figure is central to the dialogue, as he challenges conventional understandings of love and directs the conversation toward a more profound and metaphysical interpretation. His philosophical approach, exemplified in his conversations with Diotima, moves beyond personal experience and toward a universal understanding of love as a force that drives the soul toward the divine and the eternal. Through Socrates, Plato is able to explore love as a path to higher knowledge and wisdom, moving from the physical to the metaphysical. The structure of the Symposium itself is a critical aspect of the dialogue. Plato uses the speeches of the various characters to gradually build up a more sophisticated and philosophical understanding of love. The dialogue begins with a series of speeches in praise of Eros, each offering a different perspective on the nature of love. These individual speeches, while distinct in their approaches, all focus on different aspects of love: its power, its moral dimensions, its cosmic significance, and its connection to beauty. The speakers present their views in a manner that reflects their individual personalities and experiences, offering a rich diversity of perspectives. As the dialogue progresses, the individual speeches begin to form a collective understanding of love. The transition from personal, individual perspectives to a more collective, philosophical understanding of love is crucial to the development of the dialogue. Each speaker adds a layer to the discussion, presenting their ideas in response to the ideas of others. This process of dialectical exchange allows for a deeper exploration of the philosophical questions raised by the nature of love. As the conversation unfolds, the speeches become increasingly abstract, moving from the physical and emotional dimensions of love to its intellectual and metaphysical aspects. Socrates' speech, which follows the others, marks a turning point in the dialogue. He does not offer his own praise of love in the same way that the other speakers have. Instead, he challenges their ideas and presents a new perspective, based on his conversation with Diotima, a wise woman who teaches him about the nature of love. Diotima's teachings introduce the concept of the ladder of love, a metaphor that represents the philosopher's ascent from physical attraction to the contemplation of the divine. This shift from the personal to the universal, from the physical to the metaphysical, represents the culmination of the dialogue's exploration of love. The structure of the Symposium is also significant in its movement from the particular to the universal. The individual speeches, each offering a distinct perspective on love, serve as a foundation for the collective understanding that emerges as the dialogue progresses. By the time Socrates presents his vision of love, the reader has been led through a series of intellectual and emotional experiences, each one deepening the understanding of love's nature and purpose. The progression from personal to philosophical reflections mirrors the ascent of the soul, which, according to Diotima's teachings, moves from the love of physical beauty to the love of wisdom and the divine. Through this structure, Plato is able to guide the reader toward a higher understanding of love, not as a mere physical or emotional experience, but as a philosophical and metaphysical force that propels the soul toward knowledge and truth. The dialogue's movement from individual perspectives to a collective philosophical understanding reflects the process of dialectic itself, the back and forth of ideas and counter-ideas that leads to deeper insight. This structure allows Plato to explore the nature of love from multiple angles, ultimately presenting it as a powerful, transformative force that plays a central role in the philosopher's quest for wisdom. In conclusion, the setting of the Symposium, a banquet in the house of Agathon, provides a rich and dynamic space for philosophical discussion. The characters, each with their own philosophical background, offer a variety of perspectives on love, creating a multifaceted dialogue that moves from personal experience to intellectual abstraction. The dramatic context, especially with the late arrival of Alcibiades, adds an emotional depth to the philosophical discussion, highlighting the complexity and unpredictability of love. The structure of the dialogue, with its progression from individual speeches to a collective understanding, reflects the dialectical process that Plato uses to explore the nature of love, ultimately leading to a profound and metaphysical interpretation of this central human experience. The Symposium is one of Plato's most famous dialogues, featuring a series of speeches that explore the nature of love, or Eros, in its various forms. The dialogue is set in a banquet hall, where a group of prominent Athenians, including Phaedrus, Pausanias, Eryximachus, Aristophanes, Agathon, and Socrates, each offers their perspective on love. These speeches, though varied in tone and content, collectively contribute to a philosophical investigation into the concept of love. While the perspectives of the speakers differ significantly, they each address aspects of love that are fundamental to understanding its role in human existence. The dialogue is structured so that each speech builds upon the previous one, creating a progressive deepening of understanding, culminating in Socrates' philosophical interpretation of love. This essay will examine the views of each of the key speakers in the Symposium, focusing on how their perspectives contribute to the overall philosophical inquiry into the nature of love. Phaedrus, the first speaker, presents love as the most powerful and divine force in the universe. He argues that love is the greatest of all the gods because it motivates individuals to perform extraordinary deeds and make sacrifices for the sake of others. In his view, love is not simply a personal emotion or attachment, but a force that drives individuals to transcend their own selfish desires and act in accordance with higher virtues. Phaedrus draws upon the myth of Achilles, the great hero of the Trojan War, to illustrate his point. Achilles, he suggests, was willing to sacrifice his own life for the sake of his comrades, driven by his deep love for them. This, according to Phaedrus, demonstrates the power of love to inspire greatness and selflessness. In this way, love is portrayed not just as a personal feeling, but as a motivating force that encourages individuals to act nobly and to achieve greatness in the service of others. For Phaedrus, love is the most powerful force in existence because it compels individuals to rise above their own limitations and pursue virtuous deeds, even at the cost of their own lives. Pausanias, the second speaker, offers a more nuanced and sophisticated view of love. He distinguishes between two types of love: common love and celestial love. Common love, according to Pausanias, is based on physical attraction and is fleeting and transient. It is the kind of love that is focused on the body, and its object is often beauty or pleasure. This form of love is not inherently bad, but it is seen as inferior to the higher form of love, which is celestial love. Celestial love, in contrast, is a spiritual and eternal form of love that transcends the physical world. It is focused not on the body, but on the soul and the pursuit of wisdom and virtue. Pausanias argues that celestial love is the higher and more virtuous form of love because it is concerned with the well-being of the soul rather than the pleasures of the body. Pausanias' distinction between these two types of love reflects his understanding of love as an ethical force that can either lead individuals toward virtue or away from it. For Pausanias, the distinction between common and celestial love has profound ethical implications, as the pursuit of celestial love leads to spiritual fulfillment, while common love is ultimately shallow and fleeting. Eryximachus, the third speaker, presents an entirely different view of love, one that is rooted in his background as a physician and his understanding of the natural world. He argues that love is a cosmic force that governs not only human relationships but also the entire universe. According to Eryximachus, love is the principle of harmony that maintains balance and order in the cosmos. He suggests that love is present in all aspects of existence, from the smallest biological processes to the grandest movements of the stars. In his view, love is the force that ensures the proper balance of opposites, such as hot and cold, wet and dry, or the male and female principles. Eros extends the concept of love beyond human relationships to include the entire cosmos, arguing that love is the force that keeps everything in harmony and ensures the smooth functioning of the natural world. His cosmological perspective on love reflects a broader understanding of love as a principle that governs all of existence, not just human interactions. Love, for Eros, is not merely an emotional experience but a fundamental force that operates in the very fabric of the universe, bringing about balance, order, and harmony. Aristophanes, the fourth speaker, presents a more imaginative and mythological view of love. He tells the story of the original humans, who were spherical in shape and had 4 arms, 4 legs, and a single head with 2 faces. According to Aristophanes, these original humans were not only physically complete but also self-sufficient, able to move in all directions and to perform any task. However, Zeus, fearing their power, split them in half, creating the 2 separate forms that exist today, the male and female. As a result of this separation, each individual is left longing for their lost half, and love is the force that drives them to seek reunion with their other half. Aristophanes presents love as a search for wholeness, a longing to return to the original unity that was lost. This mythological interpretation of love emphasizes the idea that love is not just a physical attraction or emotional connection, but a deep existential desire for completeness and unity. For Aristophanes, love is the force that propels individuals to search for their missing half, whether that half is a romantic partner, a friend, or a kindred spirit. His view of love reflects a deep human yearning for connection and completeness, suggesting that love is not just about personal pleasure, but about the quest for unity and fulfillment. Agathon, the fifth speaker, presents a youthful and idealistic vision of love. As a poet and playwright, Agathon emphasizes the beauty and goodness of love, portraying it as the source of all virtue and excellence. For Agathon, love is not only the most beautiful of the gods but also the most virtuous, inspiring individuals to pursue goodness and beauty in all things. He describes love as the youngest and most beautiful of the gods, associated with the highest forms of beauty, virtue, and goodness. In his view, love is the force that brings about all that is noble and virtuous in the world, from courage in battle to the pursuit of wisdom. Agathon's idealistic portrayal of love highlights its role in fostering beauty, excellence, and goodness, and it contrasts sharply with the more practical or grounded perspectives offered by the earlier speakers. Agathon's vision of love emphasizes its capacity to inspire individuals to become their best selves and to pursue the highest ideals of beauty and virtue. Finally, Socrates, the central figure in the Symposium, offers a counterargument to the views of the previous speakers. Socrates' perspective on love is not based on emotional or physical attraction, but on intellectual and spiritual ascent. Socrates recounts his conversation with Diotima, a wise woman who teaches him about the true nature of love. Diotima's teachings introduce the concept of the ladder of love, a metaphor that describes the spiritual ascent through love, from physical attraction to the contemplation of the divine. According to Diotima, love begins with the love of physical beauty, but it progresses toward the love of intellectual beauty, and ultimately culminates in the love of the divine and the pursuit of wisdom. Socrates' understanding of love emphasizes its transformative power, moving individuals from the physical world to the world of the forms, where true beauty, goodness, and truth reside. Socrates' vision of love reflects his broader philosophical commitment to the pursuit of wisdom and the belief that love is a path to enlightenment. For Socrates, love is not just about personal relationships or physical pleasure, but about the soul's ascent toward the divine and the eternal truths of the universe. In conclusion, the key speakers in the Symposium each offer a unique perspective on love, contributing to a complex and multifaceted exploration of this central human experience. From Phaedrus' view of love as the greatest of gods, motivating individuals to perform virtuous deeds, to Socrates' philosophical ascent through love toward the divine, each speaker contributes to a broader understanding of love's nature and significance. These speeches offer a rich tapestry of ideas that reflect the complexity of love and its role in human life. Whether seen as a force for self-sacrifice, a search for wholeness, a cosmic principle, or a path to wisdom, love is portrayed as a powerful and transformative force that shapes individuals and the world around them. In Plato's Symposium, Diotima emerges as a pivotal character, presenting a profound vision of love that goes beyond the physical and romantic realms and into the spiritual and intellectual dimensions of existence. Through her teachings, Socrates learns about the true nature of love, which Diotima describes as a ladder of ascent, leading from the mundane attractions of physical beauty to the ultimate contemplation of divine truth and the good. Diotima's philosophy not only reshapes Socrates' understanding of love, but also provides a framework for understanding the Platonic view of love as a central force that drives the soul's quest for wisdom and ultimate enlightenment. Diotima's philosophy introduces a stark departure from the views expressed by the other speakers in the symposium. While others focus primarily on physical attraction, emotional connections, or even the cosmic role of love, Diotima emphasizes the intellectual and spiritual progression that love enables. She teaches Socrates that love is not simply a desire for bodily beauty or pleasure, but a profound force that urges the soul toward higher truths and philosophical contemplation. In this sense, love becomes a powerful motivating force for the soul's search for wisdom, beauty, and the divine, culminating in the pursuit of the good, which represents the highest form of reality in Platonic metaphysics. The ladder of love, as articulated by Diotima, is not merely an abstract idea but a practical guide to understanding the nature of love as it unfolds in human experience. According to Diotima, love begins with the physical attraction to beauty and gradually ascends through stages that reflect increasing spiritual and intellectual purity. The first stage of the ladder is the attraction to physical beauty, which is the most basic and immediate form of love. For many, this is the starting point of love, an attraction to a person's external appearance. However, this form of love is limited in scope and cannot lead to true fulfillment or wisdom. It is a desire for the transient and the fleeting, as the beauty of the body is eventually subject to decay and change. Despite this, Diotima acknowledges that physical attraction is an essential starting point because it serves as a gateway to higher forms of love. Once the individual has been captivated by physical beauty, the next stage on the ladder is the attraction to minds and souls. This represents a shift from the superficial to the deeper qualities of a person, moving beyond the body to a recognition of the inner qualities that define a person's character and intellect. In this stage, the lover is drawn not to external beauty, but to the virtues and wisdom of the person they love. This love is less about physical pleasure and more about a deep admiration for the intellectual and moral qualities that make a person truly beautiful. It is at this stage that the soul begins to recognize the limitations of physical beauty and starts to appreciate the more lasting and meaningful aspects of love. The next stage on the ladder of love is the love of knowledge and truth. Here, the lover moves beyond individual people and focuses on the beauty of ideas, wisdom, and intellectual pursuits. This stage represents the lover's transition from emotional or personal attachment to a broader, more abstract form of love, one that is not tied to any particular person but to the pursuit of knowledge and truth itself. At this stage, the lover's desire is no longer focused on the physical or emotional attributes of others, but on the beauty of the intellectual world. This shift reflects a profound transformation in the lover's priorities, as they begin to see beauty in abstract concepts and the search for knowledge rather than in the physical appearance or personal qualities of others. From the love of knowledge, the soul ascends to the love of the form of beauty. This stage represents a pivotal moment in the progression of love, as the lover begins to understand that true beauty is not found in the particulars of the world, but in the abstract and eternal forms. In Platonic metaphysics, the forms are the perfect, immutable representations of concepts such as beauty, truth, and goodness. The love of the form of beauty marks the lover's transition from the imperfect and transitory world of sensory experience to the eternal, unchanging realm of the forms. This is the moment when the lover realizes that the beauty they have been seeking throughout their journey is not a physical or emotional quality, but an abstract, transcendent reality that exists beyond the material world. Finally, the ascent culminates in the love of the good, the highest and most profound form of love. The good, in Platonic philosophy, is the ultimate source of all that is beautiful, true, and just. It is the highest form of reality, beyond all the other forms, and represents the ultimate goal of the philosophical life. For Diotima, the love of the good is the culmination of the ladder of love, as it represents the soul's ultimate aspiration to unite with the divine and to understand the highest truths of existence. At this stage, the lover is no longer concerned with personal or physical desires, but is entirely devoted to the pursuit of wisdom and the contemplation of the divine. The love of the good is not merely an intellectual exercise but a profound spiritual experience, as the lover becomes one with the ultimate reality that underpins all existence. The progression through the ladder of love reflects a shift from the physical to the intellectual and spiritual realms, as love moves from attraction to physical beauty to the contemplation of eternal truths. This shift is not simply a change in the objects of love, but a fundamental transformation in the lover's soul. Each step on the ladder represents a deeper understanding of the nature of love and a more refined connection to the divine. In this way, the ladder of love provides a framework for understanding how love can lead the soul toward wisdom and enlightenment. Love, in Diotimus' view, is not just an emotion or desire but a transformative force that shapes the soul's journey toward the divine. Philosophically, Diotimus' teachings on love have profound implications for understanding the nature of Eros and its role in the pursuit of wisdom. Eros, or love, is often understood as a passionate desire or attraction, but in Diotimus' philosophy, Eros is the motivating force behind the soul's search for beauty, truth, and the good. Eros is not just a force that drives individuals toward other people, but a force that propels the soul toward higher realities. In this sense, Eros is not merely an emotional or physical impulse, but a spiritual and intellectual drive that leads the soul toward the divine. This aligns with the broader Platonic metaphysical framework, where love is seen as the means by which the soul ascends from the world of the senses to the contemplation of eternal truths. Diotimus' teachings also shed light on the role of philosophy in the progression of love. Philosophy, for Diotima, is not a separate pursuit from love but an integral part of the soul's ascent toward the good. The pursuit of wisdom and the love of knowledge are inextricably linked, as both involve a quest for deeper understanding and a recognition of the limitations of the material world. Through philosophy, the lover is able to transcend the physical realm and engage with the higher truths of existence. In this way, Diotimus' ladder of love is not just a metaphor for personal development but a representation of the philosophical life itself, where the lover is constantly striving toward greater understanding and ultimate union with the divine. In conclusion, Diotimus' philosophy in the Symposium offers a profound vision of love that transcends the physical and emotional dimensions to encompass the intellectual and spiritual realms. Through her teachings, love becomes a motivating force that drives the soul's ascent toward wisdom, beauty, and the good. The ladder of love provides a roadmap for this ascent, illustrating the stages through which the soul moves from physical attraction to the contemplation of eternal truths. Diotimus' influence on Socrates and on the dialogue as a whole is profound, as her teachings provide the philosophical foundation for understanding love as a transformative force in the soul's search for wisdom and enlightenment. Love, in her view, is not merely a fleeting emotion but a powerful and enduring force that shapes the soul's journey toward the divine. In Plato's philosophy, beauty plays a critical and transformative role, especially in relation to love. The connection between beauty, love, and the pursuit of wisdom forms a central theme in many of Plato's dialogues, particularly in the Symposium. For Plato, beauty is not simply a physical or superficial quality but a reflection of the eternal forms, the ideal and unchanging realities that exist beyond the material world. Beauty serves as a bridge between the transient world of sensory experience and the eternal, transcendent realm of the forms. Through beauty, the soul is drawn toward the divine and the pursuit of knowledge, enabling it to rise above the mundane and experience a deeper connection to the truth. At the heart of Plato's thought is the concept of the forms, which are perfect, abstract ideals that exist beyond the physical world. The physical world, in contrast, is full of imperfect representations or copies of these forms. Beauty, like all other qualities, has its ideal form in the realm of the forms. The beauty that we encounter in the physical world is merely a reflection of the true, perfect beauty that exists in the world of the forms. For Plato, beauty is not a matter of individual taste or subjective opinion. Rather, It is an objective quality that can be apprehended by the philosopher who has the capacity to perceive the ideal beauty that lies beyond appearances. This distinction between the physical and the ideal is crucial to understanding the role of beauty in Plato's philosophy of love. Beauty, in Plato's view, is a reflection of the divine. It serves as a visible manifestation of the eternal, unchanging truth that lies at the core of reality. Just as beauty in the material world reflects the perfect beauty of the forms, it also reflects the divine nature of the cosmos. Beauty, then, is not just an aesthetic experience but a means by which the soul can glimpse the divine order that governs the universe. When we encounter beauty in the world, whether in the form of a person, a work of art, or the natural world, we are experiencing a shadow of the divine. Beauty, therefore, is not just something to be admired or enjoyed. It is a powerful force that draws the soul toward higher truths and spiritual enlightenment. The relationship between love and beauty is central to understanding Plato's view of love as a philosophical force. In the Symposium, love, Eros, is presented as the motivating force that drives the soul to seek beauty. Initially, this attraction to beauty begins with physical beauty, as the lover is drawn to the outward appearance of a person or object. However, as the lover progresses along the path of love, this physical attraction gives way to a deeper and more spiritual form of love, one that seeks beauty in the mind, the soul, and the intellect. The process of love, according to Plato, is a movement from the love of physical beauty to the contemplation of the beauty of the soul and, eventually, to the love of the form of beauty itself. In the Symposium, Diotima describes this process as a ladder of love, where the lover ascends from physical attraction to the pursuit of higher forms of beauty. The first step on the ladder is the love of physical beauty. The lover is initially captivated by the appearance of a person, drawn to their body and external features. However, as the lover progresses, they begin to realize that physical beauty is fleeting and imperfect. The next stage of love is the attraction to the beauty of the mind and soul. At this point, the lover begins to value the intellectual and moral qualities of the person they love, rather than their physical appearance. This represents a shift from the material world to the realm of the spirit, as the lover begins to see beauty not just in bodies, but in the qualities that define a person's character and soul. The third stage of love involves a deeper appreciation for the beauty of knowledge and wisdom. The lover is no longer focused on individual people but is drawn to the beauty of ideas and the pursuit of truth. In this stage, love becomes a purely intellectual endeavor, as the lover seeks to connect with the eternal truths that underlie the world. The beauty of knowledge, of understanding, becomes the object of the lover's desire, and the soul ascends further from the physical and emotional to the intellectual and spiritual realms. The final stage of the ladder of love is the love of the form of beauty itself. This is the highest form of love, where the lover no longer seeks beauty in physical forms or in individual souls, but in the pure, unchanging, eternal essence of beauty that exists in the realm of the forms. The love of the form of beauty represents the ultimate union with the divine, as the lover's soul is united with the eternal and unchanging reality of beauty. In this stage, love transcends the individual and becomes a universal and cosmic force, linking the soul to the divine order of the universe. Through this progression, beauty serves as the catalyst that drives the lover's ascent from the physical to the intellectual and spiritual realms. Beauty is not simply an external attribute but a force that moves the soul toward a higher understanding of the world and its true nature. In this sense, beauty becomes a powerful motivating force for the philosopher's quest for wisdom. The soul is drawn toward beauty because it recognizes, whether consciously or unconsciously, that beauty is a reflection of the divine and the eternal. By contemplating beauty, the soul is able to transcend the limitations of the physical world and approach the higher truths that lie beyond appearances. The role of beauty in inspiring the philosopher's quest for wisdom is central to Plato's view of love. Love, in Plato's philosophy, is not merely an emotional or physical desire, but a driving force that leads the soul toward the pursuit of truth and knowledge. Beauty serves as the initial point of attraction, but as the lover ascends the ladder, love becomes a more intellectual and spiritual endeavor. The philosopher's quest for wisdom is sparked by the recognition of beauty in the world, but it is through the contemplation of beauty that the philosopher is able to discover the eternal truths that lie behind the veil of appearances. Beauty, in this sense, becomes a medium through which the soul recognizes the divine. In the Symposium, Diotima teaches Socrates that the love of beauty is not an end in itself, but a means of guiding the soul toward higher truths. The lover's attraction to beauty in the physical world is merely a stepping stone on the path toward the love of the divine. By contemplating beauty, the soul is able to connect with the eternal and unchanging forms, which represent the ultimate reality in Plato's metaphysical system. In this way, beauty serves as a conduit for the soul's journey toward the divine, helping it to transcend the world of appearances and move toward the realm of eternal truth. The concept of beauty in Plato's philosophy is deeply intertwined with his understanding of love and the pursuit of wisdom. Beauty is not merely a superficial or aesthetic quality, but a reflection of the divine and the eternal forms. It serves as a powerful force that drives the soul toward higher truths, inspiring the philosopher's quest for knowledge and wisdom. Through beauty, the soul is drawn toward the divine, and love becomes the motivating force that propels the soul toward its ultimate goal, the contemplation of the good and the attainment of true knowledge. In Plato's Symposium, love, Eros, is presented as a complex and multifaceted concept that intertwines with the very nature of existence. It serves as a motivating force that drives the soul toward its higher purpose, guiding it through the pursuit of beauty, wisdom, and the ultimate good. Plato's understanding of love is not limited to mere physical attraction or romantic desire. It is framed within a broader metaphysical and ontological context. In this dialogue, love is treated as both a divine and human force that shapes the soul's journey toward completeness and perfection. The interplay between love, desire, and the pursuit of the forms provides a rich framework for understanding the role of love in both the individual and cosmic order. Love, according to Plato, is primarily a form of desire. Eros, in this context, is not simply a longing for physical pleasure but a deeper, metaphysical desire for completion and fulfillment. The idea of deficiency or lack is central to Plato's conception of love. The soul is seen as inherently incomplete, constantly striving for what it lacks. Love, then, is a driving force that compels the soul to seek out that which is missing, whether it be knowledge, beauty, or wisdom. This desire is not confined to the material world but extends toward the eternal and the divine. Eros is the force that motivates the soul to transcend its imperfections and move toward the ideal, to seek out the forms and, ultimately, the good. For Plato, Eros is both a divine and human force. On one hand, love originates in the divine realm, where it is associated with the eternal and unchanging nature of the forms. In this sense, love is a reflection of the divine order of the cosmos, guiding the soul back toward its source and its highest purpose. On the other hand, love also manifests in the human world, where it operates as a powerful emotional force that shapes our relationships and drives our actions. This dual nature of love underscores its significance in both the metaphysical and ethical dimensions of Plato's thought. While love is a force that transcends human experience, it is also something that we encounter in our daily lives, affecting our desires, choices, and moral development. The relationship between love and the idea of deficiency is critical to understanding its role in the Symposium. In Plato's view, the soul is never complete on its own. It is always seeking something beyond itself, whether it is beauty, knowledge, or moral virtue. Love arises from this sense of lack, this yearning for something that is absent. For example, in the early stages of love, the lover is drawn to physical beauty, which represents the first step toward fulfilling the soul's desire. However, as the lover progresses along the path of love, they come to recognize that physical beauty is transient and imperfect. This realization prompts a shift in the lover's desires, moving them away from the material world and toward the beauty of the soul, the mind, and, ultimately, the forms. Through love, the soul is guided on a journey toward its highest purpose, the pursuit of the good, which is the ultimate fulfillment of its desires. The soul's role in love is central to Plato's metaphysical understanding of love in the Symposium. Love, in Plato's philosophy, is not just an emotional or psychological experience but a metaphysical principle that binds the soul to its higher purpose. The soul is seen as immortal, existing before birth and continuing after death. It is in the soul's very nature to seek the divine, and love is the force that propels it toward this goal. Love is not just a desire for personal fulfillment but a deeper, cosmic yearning for unity with the divine. Through love, the soul seeks to overcome its imperfections and return to a state of harmony with the eternal and unchanging truths of the universe. In Plato's thought, the soul is bound to a higher purpose, which is the pursuit of the good. This pursuit is not merely a matter of personal happiness or moral development, but a metaphysical journey toward the realization of the ultimate truth. The soul's immortality means that it is constantly engaged in this pursuit, whether consciously or unconsciously. Love plays a central role in this process by motivating the soul to strive for the good. The love of beauty, wisdom, and truth is the means by which the soul progresses toward its ultimate goal: unity with the divine and the realization of the highest truths. The connection between love and the pursuit of the forms is another key aspect of Plato's ontology of love in the Symposium. The forms are perfect, eternal ideals that exist beyond the material world. They represent the highest realities, and all things in the physical world are merely imperfect copies or reflections of these ideal forms. Love, in this context, can be understood as the soul's desire to apprehend these forms. Eros drives the soul to seek out the forms, to transcend the imperfection of the physical world and connect with the ultimate realities of beauty, justice, and goodness. The philosopher's love for the forms is central to Plato's understanding of love. For the philosopher, love is not simply about the pursuit of physical beauty or personal relationships. It is about the desire to understand the eternal truths that underlie the world. The philosopher's love is directed toward the higher realities of the forms, especially the form of beauty, the form of justice, and the form of the good. Through love, the philosopher's soul is drawn toward these ideals, and it is through the pursuit of these forms that the philosopher comes to understand the true nature of reality. In this sense, love is not just a desire for individual beauty or goodness, but a deeper yearning for the ultimate truths that govern the universe. The influence of love on human virtue is another crucial aspect of Plato's ontology of love. In the Symposium, love is portrayed as the motivating force behind moral and philosophical excellence. Love, as the desire for the good, serves as the foundation for the development of virtue. In the early stages of love, the lover is drawn to physical beauty, but as they progress, they come to realize that true beauty lies in the soul and the mind. This recognition prompts a shift in the lover's desires, leading them to seek intellectual and moral virtues rather than physical attraction. Through love, the soul is guided toward the pursuit of wisdom, justice, and goodness, which are the true expressions of virtue. Love, in this sense, becomes the force behind moral development. As the lover ascends the ladder of love, they move from the desire for physical beauty to the love of the soul, then to the love of knowledge, and finally to the love of the good. This progression mirrors the development of virtue, as the lover moves from a more superficial understanding of beauty to a deeper, more intellectual and spiritual understanding. Through love, the soul is purified and guided toward its highest potential, becoming more virtuous and aligned with the divine. The relationship between love and moral development is also explored through the idea of the philosopher king in Plato's Republic. The philosopher king is the ideal ruler, someone who has transcended personal desires and is motivated solely by the pursuit of the good. This figure embodies the highest form of love, as their love is directed not toward personal gain but toward the well-being of the whole. The philosopher king's love for the good guides their actions, and it is through this love that they are able to lead others toward justice and virtue. In this sense, love is not just an individual pursuit but a force that shapes the moral and political order. In conclusion, the ontology of love in Plato's Symposium presents love as a complex and transformative force that shapes the soul's journey toward its highest purpose. Love, as a form of desire, compels the soul to seek out beauty, wisdom, and the good. It is both a divine and human force that drives the soul to transcend its imperfections and connect with the eternal truths of the universe. Through love, the soul is guided on a metaphysical journey toward the ultimate fulfillment of its desires: unity with the divine and the realization of the forms. The philosopher's love for the forms, especially the forms of beauty, justice, and the good, serves as the foundation for moral and intellectual excellence, making love the motivating force behind virtue and the pursuit of wisdom. Ultimately, love in the Symposium is not just a personal or emotional experience but a metaphysical principle that shapes both the individual and the cosmos. In Plato's Symposium, love, Eros, is portrayed as a powerful and transformative force that extends far beyond individual relationships and becomes a central element in the creation of ethical social structures. Eros, in its many forms, serves not only as the driving force behind personal development and the pursuit of beauty and truth, but also plays a pivotal role in fostering social harmony, moral virtue, and the proper functioning of society as a whole. The way love operates within the ideal state, as discussed in the Republic, shows its potential to create a just and harmonious society. Eros is not just an individual longing or personal desire. It has the potential to form the foundation for ethical relationships within the community, bringing about justice and unity. It is through love that human relationships, whether familial, political, or personal, can be grounded in moral virtue, creating a sense of cohesion and harmony that holds the fabric of society together. Plato's understanding of the connection between love and social harmony can be explored through the lens of ethical relationships within the community. In the Symposium, love is not depicted as a mere emotion or passion, but as a deeper metaphysical force that transcends individual desires. Love drives individuals to strive for the higher forms of beauty, wisdom, and goodness, and it is this pursuit of higher ideals that forms the foundation for social harmony. In a society where individuals are guided by love toward these higher principles, ethical relationships can thrive. Love, in this sense, binds people together, encouraging them to act for the greater good rather than for personal gain. It leads to cooperation, understanding, and mutual respect, fostering a community that is just, virtuous, and harmonious. In Plato's Republic, the connection between love and justice is explored in greater detail within the structure of the ideal state. According to Plato, justice is not merely the arrangement of laws and rules but a state in which each individual fulfills their proper role, contributing to the overall well-being of the community. Love plays a critical role in achieving this state of justice. It is love, particularly the love of wisdom and virtue, that inspires individuals to seek their true calling and dedicate themselves to the greater good of the society. The pursuit of justice in the ideal state is rooted in the belief that individuals are naturally inclined to perform their roles when they are motivated by love for the good of the whole, not by personal desires or ambitions. In this way, love acts as a moral force, guiding people to recognize their place within the broader social framework and to contribute to the harmony and stability of the community. Furthermore, the philosopher king, as described in the Republic, exemplifies the highest form of love in society. The philosopher king is an individual who has ascended through the ladder of love, beginning with the appreciation of physical beauty and progressing toward the love of wisdom, justice, and the good. The philosopher king's love is directed toward the highest ideals, and it is this love that forms the foundation of their leadership. The philosopher king is not motivated by personal desires or the pursuit of power but by a deep and unwavering love for the truth and the well-being of the state. This love allows the philosopher king to rule justly, making decisions not for personal gain but for the benefit of all citizens. In this sense, love is not only a personal virtue but a civic one, serving as the guiding principle for ethical leadership and the creation of a just society. The philosopher's understanding of love, as portrayed in the Republic, extends beyond personal development and enters the realm of public life. The philosopher king's role is to guide society with wisdom, and this wisdom is rooted in their understanding of love. The love of wisdom, beauty, and truth equips the philosopher king with the ability to see beyond the material world and to understand the higher, unchanging truths that govern reality. It is this knowledge, combined with their love for the good of the state, that makes the philosopher king the ideal ruler. Love, in this context, is the foundation for the ruler's wisdom, and it is the key to creating a just and harmonious society. Through love, the philosopher king is able to inspire others to live virtuous lives and to contribute to the collective well-being of the community. In addition to its role in the philosopher king's leadership, Eros also plays a fundamental role in the ethical relationships between individuals. Love is a binding force that connects people in various forms of human relationships, including friendship, marriage, and familial ties. In the Symposium, love is not limited to romantic or physical attraction. It is also the foundation for deep, meaningful relationships based on mutual respect, understanding, and the pursuit of shared values. Friendship, for instance, is portrayed as a form of love that allows individuals to connect on a deeper level, transcending superficial differences and fostering a sense of unity and loyalty. In a just society, love is the force that binds individuals together, encouraging them to treat one another with kindness, respect, and empathy. It is through love that individuals come to recognize the importance of ethical behavior and social responsibility, as their actions are no longer guided solely by personal desires but by a commitment to the well-being of others. Marriage, too, is seen as a form of love that contributes to the stability and harmony of society. In the Symposium, love is not merely a private, emotional experience but a force that extends into the social realm, shaping the relationships that sustain the fabric of the community. A just society, according to Plato, requires that individuals form loving, ethical relationships, both in their personal lives and in their interactions with others. Marriage, as an institution, provides a foundation for the creation of stable ethical families, which in turn contribute to the overall well-being of the community. Love, in this sense, is the moral force that governs not only the relationship between husband and wife but also the upbringing of children and the transmission of values from one generation to the next. The ethical role of Eros in human relations can also be seen in the way it shapes human behavior. Love, in its many forms, encourages individuals to act with virtue and integrity, as it guides them toward the pursuit of higher ideals. Love for the good, the beautiful, and the true fosters an ethical framework in which individuals are motivated to act justly, not out of obligation or fear of punishment but because they genuinely care for the well-being of others and the greater good of society. This moral force extends beyond the personal realm, shaping the ethical dynamics of society as a whole. Love encourages individuals to move beyond self-interest and work toward the collective good, fostering cooperation, empathy, and mutual support. The binding force of love extends throughout human society, from the individual to the community and the state. As love connects people in deep, meaningful relationships, it also serves as the foundation for the ethical principles that govern social life. The love of wisdom, beauty, and the good guides individuals toward a deeper understanding of their roles in society, motivating them to act with virtue and contribute to the common good. In this way, love is the force that binds society together, creating harmony, justice, and unity. The role of Eros in society, as explored in the Symposium, is central to Plato's vision of an ethical and harmonious community. Love serves as the foundation for social harmony by guiding individuals toward the pursuit of higher ideals, such as wisdom, beauty, and justice. The philosopher king's understanding of love as part of their leadership role exemplifies how love can be the guiding force behind just and ethical governance. Furthermore, love acts as a binding force in human relationships, shaping the moral and ethical dynamics of society and encouraging individuals to act with virtue and compassion. Through love, individuals are motivated to work for the greater good of the community, fostering cooperation, empathy, and mutual respect. In this way, love becomes the cornerstone of a just and harmonious society, ensuring that individuals are not only concerned with their own well-being but also with the well-being of others and the collective good. Plato's philosophy of love, especially as portrayed in the Symposium, has been subject to various criticisms and reinterpretations over the centuries, ranging from ancient critiques to modern philosophical, psychological, and feminist analyses. The notion that love, or Eros, is a rational and transformative force, guiding individuals toward higher ideals of beauty, truth, and wisdom, has not gone unchallenged. In ancient thought, philosophers such as Aristotle and the Sophists raised objections to Plato's idealized view of love. They argued that Plato's understanding of love, as a divine and rational force leading toward higher metaphysical truths, failed to account for the full complexity of human emotions, relationships, and desires. Furthermore, Plato's emphasis on the intellectual and spiritual aspects of love has been scrutinized in modern times, with philosophers like Martin Heidegger and Michel Foucault offering reinterpretations that highlight the limitations of his ideas. In the ancient world, Aristotle provided some of the most significant critiques of Plato's theory of love. As a student of Plato, Aristotle both absorbed and responded to Plato's ideas, developing his own distinct views on love and human nature. While Plato saw love as an ascent toward higher knowledge and the divine, Aristotle understood love more practically, grounded in human relationships and ethical virtues. According to Aristotle, love is a fundamental part of human life, but it does not necessarily lead individuals toward a metaphysical realm of forms, as Plato suggested. For Aristotle, love is intricately tied to human flourishing and is an expression of virtue. In his Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle emphasized the importance of friendship and love in the cultivation of virtue, suggesting that love is an essential aspect of moral development. However, Aristotle criticized Plato's view of love as too detached from human reality and too focused on abstract, intellectual ideals. Aristotle's understanding of love, by contrast, was more rooted in human experience and ethical relationships, emphasizing mutual affection and the role of love in achieving a balanced and flourishing life. Aristotle's critique highlights a significant tension in Plato's theory: the separation between the rational and the emotional, and the dismissal of the material and emotional aspects of love. While Plato's notion of love in the Symposium elevates the pursuit of wisdom and the contemplation of the divine, Aristotle's view sought to reconcile love with the realities of human nature. He argued that love is not just a means of achieving intellectual transcendence but is also deeply connected to our practical, everyday experiences. Aristotle's approach to love emphasizes the need for balance between intellectual and emotional fulfillment, a perspective that stands in contrast to Plato's more idealized and spiritualized view. In addition to Aristotle's critique, the Sophists, who were contemporaries of Plato, also took issue with his conception of love. The Sophists, with their relativistic and pragmatic approach to truth and ethics, rejected Plato's idealism. They argued that love, like all human experiences, is subjective and rooted in personal desire rather than a pursuit of universal truths. To the Sophists, the notion that love could lead to the apprehension of metaphysical beauty or truth seemed overly abstract and disconnected from the lived experiences of individuals. They criticized Plato's emphasis on a perfect rational love as impractical and idealistic, arguing that love, like other human desires, is inherently subjective, often chaotic, and not easily guided by reason. The Sophists' critique of Plato's love philosophy raises important questions about the relationship between love and truth. While Plato viewed love as a means of transcending the material world and ascending toward the divine, the Sophists contended that love is more grounded in the subjective, individual experience. For the Sophists, love does not have a singular, universal purpose or direction. Instead, it reflects the complexity and diversity of human desires and relationships. This critique challenges Plato's universalist approach, suggesting that love cannot be fully understood in terms of abstract ideals or intellectual assent. As Western philosophy evolved, Plato's theory of love continued to be revisited and re-evaluated. In the 20th century, thinkers such as Martin Heidegger and Michel Foucault offered new interpretations of Plato's philosophy, reflecting the growing interest in the psychological, existential, and historical dimensions of love. For Heidegger, Plato's idealization of love represented a detachment from the lived reality of human existence. Heidegger was concerned with the ways in which philosophy, particularly Platonic philosophy, distanced itself from the concrete, lived experiences of individuals. In his interpretation, Heidegger focused on the existential aspects of human relationships, emphasizing the tension between love as an idealized force and the messy, unpredictable nature of human emotions. For Heidegger, the existential experience of love could not be reduced to a rational, intellectual ascent toward the divine, but must instead be understood in the context of human existence, with its ambiguities, desires, and limitations. Michel Foucault, on the other hand, brought a historical and power-focused perspective to the interpretation of Plato's philosophy of love. Foucault's analysis centered on the social and political implications of Plato's concept of love, particularly in relation to the control and regulation of human desires. Foucault was interested in how societal norms and institutions shaped and governed love, sexuality, and personal relationships. He argued that the idealized notion of love presented by Plato and other classical thinkers could be seen as a way to regulate human behavior, shaping individuals according to certain moral and social expectations. Foucault's critique of Plato's love philosophy suggests that love, as a social construct, is entangled with power relations and cannot be fully understood outside of its historical and social contexts. Modern psychology has also engaged with Plato's theory of love, particularly in relation to his emphasis on the rational and transcendent dimensions of love. In the 20th century, psychological theories of love, such as those advanced by psychologists like Eric Fromm, Sigmund Freud, and John Bowlby, emphasize the emotional, unconscious, and relational aspects of love, challenging Plato's focus on reason and intellectual pursuit. Freud, for example, understood love in terms of the unconscious mind and its repressed desires, whereas Fromm viewed love as a complex psychological process that involves both rational and emotional components. These psychological interpretations offer a more nuanced understanding of love, one that takes into account its emotional and unconscious dimensions, aspects of human experience that Plato's rational philosophy of love tends to overlook. Feminist theorists have also critiqued Plato's conception of love, particularly in relation to gender and power dynamics. Feminist philosophers have pointed out that Plato's idealized conception of love, especially in its male-centric portrayal, neglects the complex ways in which love, desire, and power are intertwined with gender inequalities. In the Symposium, for instance, the female characters, such as Diotima, are portrayed as possessing a higher understanding of love, but their roles are still framed within a patriarchal context. Feminist critiques of Plato's love philosophy highlight how love, as an idealized force, can be problematic when applied to real-life relationships between men and women, where power dynamics often distort the nature of love and desire. These critiques challenge Plato's abstraction of love, urging a more grounded and egalitarian approach that acknowledges the lived realities of women and marginalized groups. Despite these criticisms, Plato's philosophy of love has had a profound and enduring influence on Western thought, continuing to shape discussions about love, beauty, desire, and human relationships. His idealized vision of love, with its emphasis on rational ascent toward the divine, continues to resonate in many areas of philosophical and cultural thought. Yet, as the criticisms and reinterpretations discussed above suggest, Plato's theory of love also faces significant challenges. Critics argue that his focus on the rational and transcendent aspects of love overlooks the complexities of human emotions and relationships, and that his idealized view of love is often disconnected from the lived experiences of individuals. Modern interpretations, particularly from existential, historical, and feminist perspectives, offer important insights into the limitations of Plato's conception of love, urging a more complex and contextually grounded understanding of this fundamental human experience. In conclusion, the criticisms and reinterpretations of Plato's philosophy of love reveal a tension between idealism and realism, between reason and emotion, and between the transcendental and the lived experience. While Plato's theory of love has had a lasting influence on Western philosophy, it has also been challenged by thinkers who emphasize the complexity, subjectivity, and historical context of love. These critiques and reinterpretations open up new avenues for understanding love as a multifaceted and evolving concept, one that cannot be reduced to a rational or idealized force but must be understood in all its emotional, social, and political dimensions. In Plato's Symposium, the dialogue explores the concept of love, Eros, through a series of speeches delivered by prominent figures in Athenian society, each offering their own understanding of love. This philosophical work offers profound insights into the nature, purpose, and transformative power of love. The central themes of the dialogue, including the duality of love, the spiritual ascent through love, the role of beauty, and the importance of the forms, remain influential in philosophical and cultural discussions to this day. The duality of love is one of the most important aspects of Plato's Symposium. This concept is most notably introduced by Pausanias, who distinguishes between two kinds of love: common love, which is based on physical attraction and fleeting desires, and celestial love, which is a more virtuous and spiritual love, oriented toward the pursuit of wisdom and beauty in its purest form. This duality serves as a foundation for understanding love in a broader context, where love is not just a physical or emotional impulse but a transformative force that can lead individuals toward higher ideals and truth. The idea of love as both an earthly and a divine force invites readers to reflect on the different ways love can manifest in human experience, and how it can lead to personal and philosophical growth. Another central theme in the Symposium is the idea of spiritual ascent through love. This is most famously articulated by Socrates, who, under the guidance of Diotima, describes love as a ladder, beginning with physical attraction to individual bodies and ascending to the love of minds, the love of knowledge, and ultimately the love of the divine, or the form of beauty itself. This ascent represents a journey from the material world of appearances to the realm of eternal truths, where love becomes a vehicle for the soul's search for wisdom, goodness, and ultimate fulfillment. The notion of love as a means of spiritual ascent is key to Plato's metaphysical vision, wherein love is not only a force for personal transformation but also a guiding principle for the philosopher's pursuit of the good. The role of beauty in Plato's philosophy of love is also crucial to understanding the dialogue's central message. For Plato, beauty is not merely a superficial or sensory experience but a reflection of the divine, a manifestation of the eternal forms. In the Symposium, the experience of beauty is seen as an entry point into the contemplation of higher truths. Love begins with a simple appreciation of physical beauty, but this attraction is meant to evolve toward a deeper understanding of spiritual beauty and, eventually, the contemplation of the form of beauty, which represents the purest and most perfect manifestation of beauty in the philosophical sense. This process highlights the way beauty functions as both a catalyst and a guide in the philosopher's journey toward wisdom and understanding. Plato's philosophy thus invites readers to see beauty not just as a pleasurable experience, but as an essential part of the soul's quest for truth and moral virtue. The importance of the forms is another key theme in the Symposium. The forms, in Plato's philosophy, are eternal, unchanging realities that exist beyond the physical world. They represent the true essence of all things, such as beauty, goodness, justice, and love. In the Symposium, love is presented as the soul's yearning to apprehend these forms, particularly the form of beauty. Through love, the individual is drawn closer to these higher realities, moving from the transient material world to the timeless realm of the forms. The philosopher, through the power of love, seeks to understand and contemplate these forms, and in doing so, comes closer to understanding the nature of reality itself. The forms are thus integral to Plato's view of love as a metaphysical force that guides the soul toward greater knowledge and truth. The legacy of Plato's philosophy of love is vast and enduring. The Symposium has influenced a wide range of thinkers throughout history, from Aristotle to contemporary philosophers. In the centuries following Plato, his ideas about love were both embraced and critiqued, contributing to the development of various schools of thought in ethics, metaphysics, and psychology. Plato's view of love as a transformative intellectual force has shaped Western philosophy's understanding of love, particularly in its connection to beauty, truth, and virtue. His ideas also provided the foundation for later Christian notions of love, especially the idea of love as a divine force leading the soul toward the divine. In this way, Plato's philosophy of love has not only influenced secular philosophical traditions, but also played a significant role in shaping religious and theological understandings of love. In contemporary discourse, Plato's ideas about love continue to be relevant in discussions about ethics, psychology, and human relationships. In ethics, Plato's conception of love as a guiding force toward moral and intellectual development offers a model for understanding love as a force for personal growth and virtue. Love, in Plato's view, is not merely a personal emotion or desire but a powerful motivator for individuals to seek truth, beauty, and goodness. This philosophical vision of love continues to resonate with modern ideas about the role of love in human flourishing, as seen in contemporary moral philosophy and positive psychology, which often emphasize love's role in cultivating well-being and moral virtue. In psychology, Plato's ideas about love as a motivating force for personal transformation have influenced modern theories of attachment, self-actualization, and human development. The idea that love can lead individuals toward higher ideals, such as wisdom, beauty, and goodness, aligns with contemporary understandings of love as a force that helps individuals grow emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. Psychological theories that emphasize the importance of self-transcendence and the pursuit of meaning in life echo Plato's conception of love as a path to greater fulfillment and understanding. Plato's idea of love as a journey of ascent, moving from physical attraction to intellectual and spiritual enlightenment, can be seen as an early precursor to modern psychological theories that highlight the developmental aspects of love and its role in the individual's search for meaning and purpose. In the realm of human relationships, Plato's philosophy of love provides valuable insights into the deeper dimensions of love and affection. While contemporary society often emphasizes the emotional and physical aspects of love, Plato's Symposium reminds us that love is not merely a temporary or fleeting emotion, but a profound force that shapes the individual's relationship to beauty, virtue, and wisdom. The dialogue invites readers to reflect on the transformative potential of love, encouraging them to consider love not just as a personal feeling but as a guiding force that leads to a greater understanding of self, others, and the world. In this sense, Plato's ideas offer a timeless perspective on the nature of love, emphasizing its spiritual and philosophical dimensions and its potential to inspire personal and collective growth. Ultimately, the Symposium presents a profound vision of love as a dynamic, transformative force that transcends the material world and guides the soul toward higher knowledge, beauty, and goodness. While Plato's ideas about love may seem idealistic or abstract, they continue to invite reflection on the deeper meanings and purposes of love in human life. The ongoing relevance of Plato's philosophy of love speaks to the enduring quest for understanding the relationship between love, beauty, virtue, and the divine, and how these ideas continue to shape our conception of love in both philosophical and everyday contexts. As we continue to explore the nature of love in all its forms, Plato's Symposium remains an invaluable source of insight, prompting us to reconsider the role of love in the pursuit of wisdom, beauty, and truth.